Welcome. In front of me is a OnePlus 6T McLaren Edition, and I'll show you a couple of tweaks and tricks. Mind you that whatever I'll show you is not limited to this specific edition. It also will work completely perfectly on the 6T, the normal one. It just might have a little bit less options in certain cases, so be mindful of that. But jumping straight to it, we'll go into fingerprint animation, which, as you can see, I have it already set. So you have the fingerprint, so you can see it, and you have this animation, which this one comes with the McLaren Edition, and it's, in my opinion, really nice. But you can actually go into the settings and change them, and it's going to be under security and lock screen, so right here, and fingerprint. And if you already have a added fingerprint, which you will need to have to go through this anyway, to the settings, you also need to have either PIN, pattern, or password, which I have pattern to put it in. So from here you will see fingerprint animation effect, and as you can see, you can select each one of them to see how it will look. But also, if you have chose whichever one you like, you can lock the device and also test it right on the spot how it will look from here. Yeah, so, and there's the Cosmos as well also. Now, in my opinion, this one looks the best. I don't know why, to me, it's a little bit more flashy and a little bit nicer looking. So that's the first thing. Now moving on, we're gonna go into the gesture bar navigation, or gesture navigation in this case. Usually, as you can see, you have this bar with buttons, but because nowadays screens are so big, there is the gesture navigations, which I personally really like. So we'll go back into settings, the main screen, and from here we'll go into display, right? Oh no, never mind. Into buttons and gestures right here, and you will see the navigation bar and gestures. So here, and from here have the three options, which one you like, and the navigation bar is the last one, or navigation gestures, and you have a little option to go through them and see how to use it. So you can also have the standard, the typical Android one, which comes default, but we're talking about gesture navigation, so right here, and it's really nice, works flawlessly, as you can see, really smooth. I want to close it. Now, one thing that I would really like to see is, what I love is, when you go from the side, it's a back button from either side, and the middle is basically the recent apps if you hold it, and if you just swipe it up, it's closing. What I would really like to see is to have the option from swiping from the sides to go back, kind of like Huawei or iPhone does it. It would be nice to just have, let's say, a little option in the settings to change it, but it still works really well, and the Oxygen OS comes already packed with features which no one should complain about comparing to everything else. So it already is really nice. Just one additional feature would be super sweet. But yeah, moving on, it's going to be the accent colors, which, to give a little bit of explanation, when you have the buttons and also words and other stuff, you can see the accent color right now is the blue of every slider and other things, words, icons, but you can actually change it under the, I think it's display, and from here you'll have accent colors right there. So you can tap on it and change the color to whatever you like. Let's say red. Give it a moment, and as you already see, the words, titles of the options are already in red, and so will be the buttons here. And yeah. Now, mind you that if you have a theme and you have this device, I think by default it comes in the McLaren theme, which once it's set, this option will actually be grayed out, so you can't actually change it. you will need to go into the theme and change it to either colorful, light, or dark to have the ability to change the accent color. So you can see, now I can change it. You can also tap on here and you get the little bit of a palette, and you can choose with a little bit more detailed way of what color you want and tap it on to confirm it. And as you can see, now it's this color. So that was another thing. Now moving on, we're gonna go into icon management, which will be under the display settings. Display, and where is it? Oh, it's right here. My bad. So icon management, right here. It took me a little bit to find it. And what this will do is, at the moment there's not much showing in the taskbar, so let me just turn on everything I possibly can to make it a little bit more annoying. As you can see, now we have a couple more options in or a couple more icons in the status bar right here. And what you can do is actually turn off each individual one if you don't want it to show. Normally this setting in a typical Android is hidden, and you would have to actually pull down the notification and hold that little gear icon, and it will then enable this this setting. But here it's natively in the OS, so that's nice. Unlike other devices where you just flat out disable this option and make it impossible to be used for literally no reason, in my opinion. But jumping back to it, as you can see, we have Hotspot, which is this little circle, and you can flip it, boom, it's gone. Then let's say, what is next? NFC, which is at the bottom, and now it's gone. Now headphones, where is can turn off, well, you have basically option to turn off everything to make it a little bit cleaner, but I am looking for this. And as you can see, with this turned off, you have a nice cleaner look of the task, or well, notifications and other stuff. And it just, in my opinion, looks way better and cleaner. There is no need for you to see that you have constantly reception. I mean, it's obvious that most of the time you will have reception, so I don't really need to see it all the time. Also, Bluetooth or other stuff, I can check it as well easily by pulling it. And most of the time I do remember what I have enabled. So I don't really see the point of being constantly spammed with icons on the top that will always basically throw it in my face. Oh, look, you have Wi-Fi enabled. So yeah. Now, the last thing I want to show you for this one is the screen calibration, which will change the color and temperature and accuracy of the colors of the display. So it will be under the settings and display. So let's go here, and then it is under, where is it? Oh, not here. Oh, there it is. I'm blind. Screen calibration, as you can see. And from here we have the option of default, which usually will be probably set. It also has the option, like you have this option during the setup of the device, and you can choose either sRGB, DCI-P3, which is basically the accuracy of the colors on different platforms. So sRGB, I think it's for Adobe. So it's basically how colors should look and how they look true to life in the specific program, I guess. I'm not necessarily sure how never really used it, so don't really have much of an idea how accurate it is or how to explain it, but I think that's basically the gist of it. So yeah, then you have the adaptive mode, and I'm not really sure, it doesn't really give you the definition, but I would suppose it kind of changes depending on the environment and what you're using. And then you also have the custom, which you get to choose how warm or cold the image is. As you can see, you slide it to change it. Now normally, assuming also that it states that it's sRGB, it would state that it's basically calibrated to this. I have no way of actually checking if that is correctly calibrated or not, so we'll just have to take the word of this little option here and assume that it is. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep on default anyway. So those are some tweaks and tricks for you guys, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thank you for watching.